Good morning, STMS. Welcome to The Wave. Today is Friday, May 7th. Here are the birthdays for this week.
For Word Gen next week. 1.23. Explicit photos and cell phones, illegal or just risky? Should students involved in sexting be charged as criminals, or should their acts simply be seen as teenage mistakes?
Here's the Word Gen vocabulary words for this week. Constant is an adjective that means not changing, continuous, and happening all the time. Inappropriate is an adjective that means not proper or suitable for the situation. Disseminated is a verb that means to scatter, spread, or broadcast. Legal is an adjective that means having to do with the law. And accountable is an adjective that means responsible for something, obligated to explain one's actions. Now for a video presentation from Mr. Evans.
Hey everyone, it's Mr. Evans. Tuning in here from Evans Acres Farm, and I am doing a video today in my sequence on goats. So as I said in my introductory video, I really truly believe that project-based learning is core to life. I take every day all of the subjects that I did well in: math, reading, science, social studies, and I combine them into the projects that become the core of what I'm about and what I do. So here on Evans Acres Farm, we've had 2 goats for a little while. And I use these goats as part of weed control here on the property. And I'll show you a little bit of what I mean here in a few moments. But I'm actually kind of excited today because we're going to have a new addition to our little farm here. There's a lady up the road who has a whole herd of goats, and she contacted me to let me know that unfortunately one of her goats had passed, and that the herd was rejecting that goat's son. So I agreed to take on this little goat as a project, and in doing that I have to think about the different areas that I learned about in school, such as mathematics. Figure out, do I have enough money to be able to support the vet bills and the food bills? Do I have enough square feet of land to allow this goat to have a free and happy life? Did I have the English and communication skills that I needed to be able to communicate with this other farmer in a polite, proper way, and come back and be able to come to an arrangement that would save this goat's life? And at the end of that, yeah, I did. And I've taken on this project as something that we're going to try to kind of pull out of a dangerous situation a little bit and try to give this new young goat a happy life. I'm here in my main barn looking at the 2 goats that we currently have, Chocolate and Spot. They're pygmy goats. They won't get much bigger than that. But I use them for a good purpose, which I'll share with you in a few moments. And what we came upon here was another young goat that just got delivered that needed a little help. So I'm going to open this up, and we're going to give this little guy a chance to come on out and see us. Hey, buddy. How are you? Oh, my. So you can see he's pretty tiny yet. Oh, there he is. There he is. So he's going to take a little while to adjust to a new learning situation. Again, the farm that he came from, his tail's really going, he's happy. The farm that he came from had a herd of about 40 other goats that were rejecting him after his mama passed on. They were pushing it away from the food that it needs and from the water container that they had. And it just wasn't a good situation, so I agreed to take him on. Now, we'll see once he gets introduced to the rest of the other 2 goats here how he's going to make out, but he seems to be okay for right now. All right, so this is all 3 of these goats together now. This is really within the first seconds that they've been introduced to one another. You can see see Chocolate and Spot, they're trying to figure out exactly how this guy fits into everything. And he's coming over here looking for some protection. But all in all, things are good so far. I'll take a minute and show you just real quick some of my goat setup. So this structure I'm in used to be horse stables, but over the past year or so, we've slowly converted it to house goats instead. So goat care is pretty easy. They're eating some Timothy hay right there, which they really enjoy, and they've got their water set up. And every now and then they get a grain substitute, which really helps them to digest all of the hay. And there's all my ducks wondering about what exactly it is that I'm doing in here. Now, I told you that I have these guys to help me with one of the projects that I've got going on around my house. And I'm going to show you exactly, hi buddy, exactly how they go about doing that. So there's a lot of different reasons to raise goats. A lot of people raise goats for dairy products. Goat milk and goat cheese are huge sellers and very popular, as well as goat soap, which are all made from goat milk. And another reason is for meat. Goats provide lean, clean meat to a lot of families and a lot of people around the world. And it's a popular food choice here in Pennsylvania as well. I don't raise my goats for either reason. I raise my goats to help me with an even larger project that I have in mind. As you can see here, the lower half of Evans Acres is covered in very thick, very thorny, very brushy briars. And my goats are going to have a job around here. I am going to use fencing when they get a little bigger, to fence off different quarters of all this brushy, briary stuff that they will take their turns eating up. And as they slowly eat up all of this thick, briary junk, I'm going to replace all of this with blackberry, raspberry bushes that we will use to help feed our family, our neighbors, and our friends. A lot of people would just spray this down with weed killer and be done with it. But as you can see, running through the very tail end of my property, and actually where Evans Acres ends, is one of the most pristine and cleanest waterways in central Pennsylvania, and it's Clark's Creek. And my property actually adjoins Flemish Downs, which is where Clark's Creek Water Preservation Association meets regularly. And they wouldn't be too happy if I decided to put a bunch of chemicals down that would kill these weeds. They would do the job and quick, but they would also flow into that waterway and kill lots of fish and really pollute ultimately the Susquehanna River where it flows into. Just north of here is Dehart Dam. And Dehart Dam, believe it or not, is roughly 15 miles from Harrisburg, but it provides Harrisburg with a lot of fresh, clean drinking water. So that's my video for today. It's like I said before, I use the different subjects that I learned in school to really drive the core of my life. Today, I showed you two big projects that I'm going to have going that I've got to factor in English, math, science, and social studies skills. One being the new addition to Evans Acres and our new young little goat, and the other being the fact that I want to use these goats to find a clean, healthy, environmentally friendly way to clean up some of the property around here and turn it into a productive landscape that will help myself, my family, and my local community. So there really is no specific project or challenge that I want to throw your way, except for to find a way to live your life a little cleaner and a little more environmentally friendly in the future. Thank you.
The reminders for this week are: students participating in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory should continue to practice scripts and see Mrs. Fry's teacher page for activities to practice character development. Currently, no one, including teachers and staff, is allowed in STMS. Stay tuned for information on when you can gather your belongings. All work for your core and related arts classes, as well as your PBL class, is due today at 11:59 p.m.
Here's the Zoom lesson schedule. ELA 9 to 9:30, Math 9:45 to 10:15, Social Studies 10:30 to 11, Science 11:15 to 11:45, PBL 12:30 to 1, Related Arts 1:15 to 1:45, Office Hours 2 to 2:30 on Monday and Wednesday, and 10:30 to 11 on Friday, and Advisory 11:15 to 11:30 on Friday.
This week's shoutouts are STMS. Thank you to each and every teacher for what you do to contribute to our education. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Mr. Gambler. To Mrs. Fox for being a good captain and having all the answers. To Mr. Evans for his cool Billy Mays Zoom pin. To the students for taking on the challenge assignments and striving to be prepared to moving up to high school. Keep it up. Miss McAloose. I'd like to shout out 2 students, Kenson Phillips for an outstanding modern challenges for Hercules assignment, very creative, and Isaiah Ogantade for his participation in the live lessons this week.
A shout out for Mrs. O'Neill. Paige Lee Medina Trinidad for going above and beyond with the Oreo Cookie Plate Tectonic Movement Lab. Great job. And Mr. Evans, shout out to all of our wonderful teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week, STMS administration.
Teacher, you can't hear images. Me.
Signing off, it's Michael.
And Eliana, thanks for riding the wave.
Thank you, teachers. We appreciate you more than you know. From every student here at STMS, Happy Teacher Appreciation Week.
Susquehanna Township Middle School teachers, thank you for all that you do. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week.